Hello, my fellow humans. I'm Katrina, and this is Owned by Love. Today, I want to share with you something that is important in everyday life. The idea of trying to love God and love your neighbors yourself is to find things in your own life that happen that you can apply it to. So we struggle within each day on how to actually apply these things and get stronger and better in love. So I'm going to share experiences of my own and sometimes experiences of others to share how it looks when you're working in a day. I just had a birthday come up, and before the birthday I had some feelings about birthdays that are just, I don't like them. They're hard for me. I grew up in a situation where we didn't grow up with birthdays, and what we did for a birthday was maybe a nice meal, and sometimes we would get gifts and things, but my birthday was not as important as other people, even in the family, and it hurt. So I had a lot of hurt behind it. And when you have hurts like this, it's very hard to go into being unhurt. It hurts. I realize that with things like this, it can be hard to forgive people. The forgiveness for me has been done. I recognize that I really don't hold it against them. They had their reasons for the way that they were, and for whatever reason, I just got it that way. My birthday was not as important. There are things that you can learn with whatever you experience in life, and I've worked many years on the forgiveness, and I don't really hold anything, but the thing that I do hold is the pain. So sometimes you can forgive and it can still have a wound. And learning how to work with that wound has been something that I've been dealing with for many years. I did some birthday parties for myself many years ago and had some good experiences. For whatever reason, this time I wasn't excited about it, and I kind of came up with some ideas of why. I've always said for birthdays that it's better to, the idea of giving people gifts and celebrating you doesn't make any sense to me. To me, what makes sense is to celebrate all those who helped me get to the age I'm at. And I was pretty intent in believing that if I were to keep a birthday. Here where I live now is a different culture. I grew up in the United States, and here in Germany, it's completely different culture. Birthdays are super important in general in this culture. Everybody remembers everybody's birthday. And actually, they have a similar mentality that the person having the birthday makes a big party for everyone else. It's a day that they work towards giving other people a party. And I like the concept in general, obviously off of the way that I've always said things. The thing that got me was the idea of entitlement. And both ways, it's a problem when it comes to birthdays and other celebrations, whether it's Christmas, Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day, whatever day. The entitlement that can happen for the person that's being celebrated can feel entitled that everyone should be celebrating me in some way. And when we feel that way inside, for me it doesn't feel good, because then whatever I try to give that person is expected. And it doesn't feel like I can give with my whole heart just because I feel like giving. It's part of it is tainted with knowing that it's expected. And the other way around, the opposite is the same. When there's an expectation for yourself in guilt to give, you feel forced to give something in any way. It feels like something is being taken that you weren't intending to give. Trying to find, sometimes you know you're supposed to give it and it's a good thing to give, but something struggles within you to want to give it fully from everywhere. I think it's important that when these things come up to slow down. This is where work is to be done in love. This is where we reorient on what exactly is going on for us inside and look for a place to allow yourself to be healed and to be able to give from a higher place. This year, because it was so uncomfortable for me with the idea of birthday, that I decided I go into things that are uncomfortable. And I walk in it and I do it anyway because I know there's lessons and gifts within doing it. And so I got a cake for the people at work, for instance, and I recognized the feelings inside me. And while I was walking in the mountains, I had an epiphany just before getting this cake and giving it for the company, that whatever is expected from you, any expectations, it still can be something that you can give from your full heart and not look at the expectation, but choose somewhere inside to just give it anyway because of something inside you that says, give. And I thought about the Messiah. I thought about how if you look at the expectations that people had on Christ, they were first being fed by Christ, they were being healed by Christ, and they wanted to make him king because they got fed meals and they were being healed, and they wanted to make him king. Then when he wouldn't be king, and everyone else, the poor wanted him to be king, the Sadducees and Pharisees and other people got jealous and wanted to take him out because they realized the power of somebody who can give from food and can give healing power. The expectation at time was for hate, to want to kill an innocent man. And he gave his life fully for the joy that was within him. It says in Scripture, and the joy was us. He knew that dying for us would give something great to himself in receiving all of us, including the world. And so he did it from the joy within him, even though it was expected and they took his life. So even barely anyone will die for their friends. But will you die for those people that for the moment think you're an enemy and still love them? I brought this idea into my head, and I realized that I have a choice of how I feel about any situation, birthdays, entitlements. I can find within myself a reason, a pure reason to go ahead and love because I have been loved deeply, even when I don't deserve it or I've had wrong expectations. These are the type of things, this is a for instance, that you might be able to apply into your everyday life of how to find the love of God who loves you and loving your neighbor because you've been loved so much.